Hello everybody, this is Lance. Welcome to the first addendum video of Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. In these addendum videos, I will be going over what I could have done, some interesting perks, some ideas, some character things that I would have been able to do, and probably some alternate entrances to certain quests or whatnot. Now, keep in mind that I have not actually played this game, but I am going to research the hell out of it to make it at least close enough to a Let's Play as I can get. So these videos are here to make this seem more like a proper Let's Play as opposed to just a blank blind run. That's not always very fun unless it's Skyrim, obviously. Now, I'll go over the survey questions and see what it is for right now. So, okay, character gender, yeah, whatever. So, okay, let's not do that yet. So, if you may have noticed, there was actually two options that I could have done. It was the, should I go over the quiz, and the game chooses what I want to be from my answers to that quiz. That I wanted to do originally, that's why I did the survey. I thought that, the question system is really interesting. But as I figured out, it was a branching question system, so it's completely different questions every time you choose them. I don't think that would require some sort of advanced survey thing. That's kind of difficult to do. So instead, I made my own. This is a little more. It's not as deep. It doesn't dive into, oh, what do you want me to be from the bottom of your heart? No, something like that. Anyway, so I'll just explain. I think the only thing I really need to explain is question 2. Question 1 is just character gender. That the only thing that changes is the certain stats. I'll get to those later. So question 2 is, what type of character do you want me to be? These are basically all the clans except for one inside of the entire Masquerade universe. So the unarmed melee fighter is the Brujah clan. The standard melee fighter tank is our clan, the Gangrel clan. They are more of a defensive class than the Brujah, which thus the difference. The stealthy mage character is the so I recorded this like 3 times. Jesus. Is clan Malkavian? I was right. Is clan Malkavian? They are a mage character. They specialize in disciplines, which we'll be getting that later, as well as stealth, and they have a few disciplines that forward stealth. There is a roleplay ranged character called the Tremere. No, that's not right. Toreador. Yeah, Toreador. They are a more human-like vampire if you want to play, I guess. Modern Oblivion! You probably... I don't know, this might work out for you, except with guns. They are mostly a gun kind of class. And the pure mage character is the Tremere. Their disciplines are mostly their power. That's where most of their power comes from. And the roleplay, I said support style mage. I don't think I did that right, because Clan Ventrue, I'd say Clan Ventrue is a roleplay mage, as opposed to stealth mage. They're more of a roleplay mage, I suppose. They're kind of like abusing the roleplay thing. Anyway, don't care. It's just random. Anyone I chose, which, well, I had to do that. So now let's go over all of these classes, and all of these classes have perks. I will also be talking about the Nosferatu clan, which I did not add into the survey, and I will explain why in a moment. Let's start with Clan Brujah. Clan Brujah has advantages in +1 unarmed combat, but their disadvantages are -2 frenzy checks. Now, this means that they are more of a melee-oriented fighter. They are your fist of cuffs fellows, and they have disciplines that allow them to be aggressive yet defensive. They're very aggressive clan. I don't know. Maybe I should have chosen it. Who knows? But they have -2 frenzy checks, which I will explain as this is the wassail that I mentioned in the intro. This is what happens when your humanity reaches close to 0, and you basically turn into a madman. Now, your humanity meter is there not because it's an interesting character design choice, but it comes as a result of all of the clans coming together in what is called the Masquerade. The Masquerade is an organization to keep the knowledge of vampires out of humanity, which is, I guess, a trope in every secret organization anyway. So if you violate your humanity enough, and you're close enough to a beast, they will actually send vampire hunters out to get you. I'm not entirely sure the specifics of that, but that's what happens, and this is why you have a humanity meter, as well as a frenzy check. Now, spells are effectively... Oh well, okay, let's go over all the clans first. Derp. Clan Gangrel is our clan. You have advantages to +5 strength, wits, and +5 to wits, +5 to stamina during your frenzy. Keep in mind, this is during frenzy. You also have a -1 frenzy check. So, you get major buffs when you go into frenzy, and this adds to that buff. But the bad thing is that you do go into frenzy. So for Gangrel clan, we don't want to be too human, because then we'd just be kind of weak. We're mostly we're mostly just crazed people. So I would imagine frenzy checks can be useful especially if you're in a combat zone, but not in a public area. So we should try to balance it that way. Now, Clan Malkavian is the stealthy mage class. But they are also a crazy mage class. Their disadvantage is insanity during dialogues. They can use dementation there. That is technically an advantage, I guess. They also have a little bit of insight, which is kind of insanity insight. I guess that's an advantage as well. They also have +2 inspection. I'll get to the feats later. Now, Clan Toreador, they get double humanity shifts, so if you do something that increases your humanity, you double it, and you do get a cheaper humanity raise. So if you want to increase your humanity that way, that's a good way to do that too. You also get a +1 to appearance, so you're slightly more seductive. The disadvantages to this is that your humanity shifts are doubled, and if you do something that violates the Masquerade, you will effectively become more beast-like than if someone else did. Clan Tremere, they have Thaumaturgy, which is a blood shield, which is very helpful, but they also get a first level dominate in dialogues. So they are aggressive, and they're successfully covered in aggressiveness and defensiveness, but mostly aggressiveness in dialogues. Their disadvantages is they can't raise any physical attribute above 4. We'll get to physical attributes later, but just so you know, these govern your melee and your health. The Tremere's main perks are their disciplines. Now, Clan Ventrue, their main perk is Domination, so they're kind of like a roleplay mage. They can use full use of Dominate in dialogues. They also have a +1 in their Charisma score, so they are more persuasive, and they're full Domination. So they can get what they want via dialogues. The disadvantage is that they can only feed from the upper class humans. I'm not sure how you discern from the upper to the lower class. I guess you have to just look at them and tell. But they cannot feed off of rats, which you can do. So I looked at them, and they were kind of I ended up with a support type character. I don't know why. It's mostly because they don't have the offense of a Tremere, but they do have their defense. So I'm not entirely sure about that. Now let's go to Nosferatu. The Nosferatu clan changes the game more so than the Malkavian clan, which changes only the dialogue options. The Nosferatu clan forces you, because their disadvantage is that they must hide from humans, and that changes the entire metagame. Metagame. I sound like TV. They must hide from humans. They must hide in the sewers in all public places. They can only come out during combat areas. I'll talk about the areas later. They also cannot raise their appearance or their subterfuge, but since you can't talk to humans anyway, there's no point. I think the only reason you'll need it is vampire dialogue. They also cannot use seduction, and if you've seen female Nosferatu, you don't want them to have seduction. Their advantages are that they can eat a lot of rats, and they get more blood from rats, and the rats are okay with it, I guess. They don't flee. Now, Nosferatu is an interesting clan in that, 1, you have to go through the sewers, and 2, you're basically a pure stealth character. You are forced to hide, and as a result, you probably do need to put up a lot of points into hiding, stealthing, and whatnot. The reason I took this off of the this clan off of the survey is because that will essentially, I believe, this will essentially hide most of the game from normal players, which is why I would imagine the I would recommend that you do not play this first because you don't play much. I actually played this my very first time around. I tried playing Nosferatu. Everyone hated me, so I couldn't even find the sewers. So I'm like, okay, I think I'd rather go play as another class. But we're playing Gangrel, so it doesn't matter. Now spells. I'll go over our Gangrel spells that we have. We have Fortitude, which is not a Masquerade violation, and it is a defensive buff. It protects us. It increases up to +5 of our protection, so we get more defense from melee and whatnot. We also get Animalism, which summons a supernatural animal, depending on what level it is. I think at level 5 you get bats, and at the highest level I think you get a wolf. I'm not sure. Oh no, level 4 you get a wolf. And level 5 you get bats. This does violate the Masquerade, because, you know, Spectral Wolf, what the hell. The Protean is a basic stat boost, and at level 5 you can shapeshift into an animal. This is useful against other vampires, not as useful against other humans, because humans will be using ranged weapons most of the time. This does also violate the Masquerade, because you get a super buff and you turn into a giant monster thing. And I believe that is all for right now. Next time, I believe we will actually go through the histories, all the histories of what we've chosen, but I will leave you off with what history we actually chose, which was the Beast Mistress. This is a female-only history. It adds 35% animalism damage and a 50% animalism duration, so we get to create a spectral anything at a longer rate, and they are very useful if we want to play a slightly more defensive character. However, we get a minus 25% protean duration, which means that we can't shapeshift very long, at least. So we shouldn't be putting too many points into protean for right now. And I believe that's it. If you want to hear more about it, I will be adding those into the second addendum, which will be after part 2 of Vampire the Masquerade. I'll see you guys later. This is Lance, signing off. See ya. Hello everyone, this is Lance. Yes, this is the summary section of the addendum video, and here I will be explaining what happened, what we did, and what I could have done differently effectively. I think that should be all. That's all this video really is, this section at least. This section should be about what I did, why, and where we could have gone, different areas, different ways I could have attacked it. It's not going to be a very meaty portion of this episode anyway, so anyways, in this episode we started the game. That's one. We created our character. We'll get over that in the next addendum video on how I created the character and why. We also went through the tutorial, and there's nothing new there. All you have to really know about it is it changes for every class that every race of vampire that you choose. So, for instance, when I played as the Tremors, yes, when I played the Tremors in the tutorial, it was the same areas, yes, but it taught me how to use each of my different disciplines, which is, as you've already heard, is completely different from the Gangrels. So yes, it's very creative and interesting and variable in that respect. I believe. Well, I skipped it in Nosferatu. I'm not sure if he actually gives it to you, but it is if you want to, you can skip the tutorial in this game. And that is all we actually did. So I'm pretty sure there'll be more stuff to do in the next addendum video. So watch out for that. See you next time. This is Lance.